Hey, what's up everybody? It is September 6th, and the coin we're looking at right here is Binance Coin. Now, unless you don't follow cryptocurrency at all, I'm sure you've heard about Binance Coin by now, at least from the crazy run it had last month. I mean, just take a look at that. 1,700% in 14 days. That's crazy. Unfortunately, I did not get in on any of that because I was expecting it to actually pull back from this position here, but it just kept rising. And I'm not one to buy at the top, so I was waiting for a pretty healthy pullback before I decided to buy my coins. Now, one of the things that I like to do is just do a simple fib retracement on the lowest point to the highest point and see if it bounces off any of these algorithmic positions. Now, I usually set my buy orders for this position here, the 786, but after seeing this steep pullback, I kind of wanted to see how things played out. I wanted to see some confirmation that we're getting another rally from that position. And I'd say that's a good thing that I didn't buy the coin right there, because as you can see from this wick, it actually dropped a good another 20-30% below that line. So after watching it for a few days, I see something that's reminiscent of a bearish pendant. So again, I just sat on the sidelines watching. And just as I suspected, it actually broke down again and hit the 786 line. But now this time I'm starting to see some confirmation. I'm starting to see on the RSI that it broke above this this resistance line right here, and I'm seeing on the MACD that we're getting some more positive buying action come in. So with those two signs, along with some somewhat rather sideways trading over here, I feel this is going to be a good entry point right here, and that's where I just bought. Now this 0.5 is a very likely position to where it's going to bounce back to, so that's where I set my sell orders. So I bought in right here, and I'm going to set my sell order to a little bit under the red line. So 73%, let's just see how this goes. I'll check back in a few days or a few weeks. Okay, so here's an update on Binance Coin. If you remember, I put in my buy order over here last month, and my target was up here at this 50% Fibonacci retracement. And now if this would have been successful, it would have gave me a 73% profit margin. And for my stops, like I said, I usually set it around 18%, but seeing as though the green line was right here and we got a little bit below previously, I actually matched it up with this low here. So I set that as my stop loss. You might look at this and you might say, 23%, that's a lot risking. But if you look at my targets here, it's 74%. So it's over a 3-to-1 ratio. And I really believe in this coin. So I feel like, that's a risk I'm willing to take. And I'm glad I did that, because if you could see, it almost went down to it. It bounced right off the 786 green line. Alright, so this coin did take a little bit longer than I thought to reach this 50% level. I actually thought it was going to make it right here, but it dragged it out. I believe this is pretty much 1 month. I had my automatic sell at this 50% ratio, like I said before, and that was on, let's say, 2 days ago. So yeah, it's about a month long. But 1 month to make 74% profit, that's fine in my books. As you can see, it did make it just a little bit above the 0.5, but before I even enter a trade, I like to set my targets, and I don't want to be too greedy. 73% is already a lot. So I just went ahead and let that trade went through, and now I'm just going to sit on the sidelines to see what's going to happen. This RSI is telling me it wants to go down. As you can see, it just got done being highly overbought, and if you look at the MACD, we're starting to see some sell volume come in. So that, those two indicators are telling me that we're going to see some downward movement next. So now basically I'm just going to be on to the next coin until I see a better opportunity form in this coin. That's what I do, just jump back and forth. Hey everybody, the coin we're looking at right here is Lumen, and I'm looking at the Bittrex chart. Now I'd like to say this is a healthy pullback, but honestly I would say this is more of a worrying pullback. It went a little bit further down than I'd like it to. But this coin has a lot of potential, so I'm kind of overlooking some of these negative chart patterns I'm seeing, because I do believe this coin has a very bright future. Now if you take a look, this dotted line down here represents the price before the pump. And as you can see from this little hump right here, those are rallied before this happened. Now at the time this probably looked big, but when zoomed out in comparison to this, it looks like nothing on the charts. So anyways, after this huge 1,000% run up, it took 153 days for it to correct to the price that it's at right now. And let me zoom in over here. Now if you take a look, right when it hit this dotted line, we're starting to see some sideways trading. So you could tell that, this is becoming a floor. So I consider this, a very strong support zone. Now after seeing this small rally, it's showing me that interest in Lumen is starting to come back, and we might see another rally like we did, prior 5 months ago. So with that being said, what I did this time was I put a fib extension on. The fib extension are the shorter lines right here, and the fib retracements, of course, are these longer lines. And honestly, a lot of the times my targets are this 0.5 because there's a very high likelihood it gets back to that 50%. But with this being the overall base, strong support, and with this rally coming in, I feel it's going to go past this 0.5, and that's why I used the fib extension this time. So without being too greedy, a likely area that this will get to is 100% of wave 1. I'm sorry, what I mean is 100% of this first fib extension wave. So that will give us around 83% profit margin compared to where it's at right now. And that's what our target's going to be for this trade. So I just bought in right here. Now I'm going to wait a few days or a few weeks. Then I'm going to come back in and give you a follow-up video on what actually happened with this coin. And full disclosure, I set my stop losses right at this line down here. So if it does decide to break down, I will get stopped out right here. Alright, so here's a follow-up on a trade I did last week. The coin I'm looking at right here is Lumen. Now, like I said before you enter a trade, you want to know what your targets are and you want to set those targets accordingly. Like I said before, I set my target at this 100% level, and what this was 100% of the first wave of the fib extension. So if you remember, I bought in right here and my level was right here. It was a little more, right about there. So I made 86% profit, and it looks like 3 days. So that's a really great win right there. And like I say, it's important to set your targets because, as you can see, this went quick. This went in 1 bar. So if you weren't sitting at your computer, you could have missed this. And to me, it looks like it wants to break back down. I'm getting some strong signs of some sell-off. If you look over here, that sell volume is coming in pretty big, and the RSI wants to go down. So it did go higher, but like I said, you have to be at your computer 24/7 to see this. So set your targets, because the greedy people are the ones who get burned in these kind of markets. Hey everybody, hope you're doing good this morning. Looks like one of my buy orders is about to go off, so I thought I'd talk about this coin a little bit and maybe share with you my exit strategy. Now this coin is Stratus. And if you look in the past, it did a pretty crazy run up, over 567% in 16 days, which is pretty impressive. Now at this time I was trading currencies, but not cryptocurrencies, so I really didn't know about these type of coins yet. So when I did learn about this coin, it actually already bounced up here. I think I learned about it around here. So what I did was, my normal fib retracement, if you watched some of my previous videos, and I look to get in at the 786 line, which is this green line here, because that's usually a good bounce point to start wave 3. So I bought in here at the green line, and I set a sell order for this 50%, and as you can see, it didn't make it by 1 sliver. So my automatic sell order didn't go through, and I ended up just bleeding out. And I set my stop loss 20% below the green line, where I bought in at. Now, I'm sorry, 18%. Now, 18% does seem kind of high, but remember this is cryptocurrency, and the market is very volatile, and prices go up and down quite drastically. So it's somewhat normal to set that high of a stop loss. So unfortunately, I did get stopped out around over here, lost 18%, and I've been keeping an eye on this coin ever since. And it looked like there's an opportunity forming, because as you can see, this is some pretty major support. See the dotted lines here was previous support, and it looks like there's always a bounce off of them. You see, here was a bounce, here was a bounce. So I'm hoping to get another bounce off, these support lines over here. Now I usually trade based off, fib extensions and fib retracements, but this time it's not really working too good for this coin. So for this, I want to trade based off this EMA. Because if you take a look at these previous points, every time I got below the EMA, it always gets back to it. You know, right here, right here, right here. And if it gets above it, you know, I'm definitely not going to be complaining. But what I'm going to do is actually set my sell order to this 233 EMA right here, this red line. So what I have is a trading bot to help me automate some of my trades, you know, because I'm not at the computer 24/7. So I have it set to when the price goes past this red EMA, I believe it's at 233, then it's going to automatically sell my coins. So I'm hoping this goes down just another notch right here to this white line, because that's where I'm going to buy. And then let me, so I'm going to buy at this white line, and I'm going to sell at this red EMA. And it's probably going to keep going down, so it's probably going to be around here. So that's a good percentage. It's 60%. That's a huge win in my books. So what I'm going to do now is check back in a week or so and let you know how it goes. Hey guys, hope everyone's doing good today. It's been about 2 weeks since I bought this Stratus, and I thought I'd share with you, the results and how things went. It does look like my targets were reached, so I'm very happy about that. If you remember, I said I was going to buy in around this point right here, but I was actually at my computer at the time, so I actually just watched it to see what would happen. And I saw it did drop a little bit, and I bought in between these two lines. I'm glad I did that because I almost got stopped out again. But let's take a look at some of the profits. So I bought here right about the middle, this line right here, and then I said I was going to sell at the red line, which was right here, which my trading bot automatically traded for me, which netted me a nice 61% profit. Now, even though I exited, I did look for more opportunities for entry. I used some of my other trading indicators, but just nothing really looks good at this coin right now. If you notice down here in the MACD, I'm starting to see some selling volume, so that's not a good entry point, of course. And looking at the RSI, it looked like it peaked at this overbought area, and it's on its way down, so I'm just going to sit on the sidelines and see how this goes. If I see another opportunity forming, I'll be sure to make another video. Alright, thanks guys.